Welcome to Working and Wandering.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Martha, and I'm your other host.
And it is episode 9.
Yep, episode 9 with Venturesome couple, and we're going to tell you where you can camp in Alaska and where you can't.
And some recommendations, even if you can, you shouldn't.
Yes.
Because it's not always about what I can and can't do. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, that's a crack house. Just call it what it is, honey.
Or, well, living in Alaska for years, we can tell you some of the places where you shouldn't camp.
Yeah, anything in Anchorage that has a view.
If it's a view, it's not for you.
Fairview.
Mountain View.
That's right. Stay away from the view because it's not for you. I mean, unless you like living dangerously on the edge and, with gang crime. We just went off the rails, didn't we? We're
did.
like not even a minute into it. And they're like, what in crazy hell are they talking about? Welcome to the world of my brain. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah. Only they think so. All right. So let's talk about where you can camp. Damn near everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alaska is one of those places that minus, we'll say the Anchorage city limits, you can pretty much boondock anywhere you can park.
Yes. And then there's certain places, we'll just say Walmart has no RV parking overnight signs.
And neither does the Cabela's in Anchorage. It's actually posted no parking. I mean, no camping. And then the Bass Pro, that's got a view. It's not for you.
Now, I would double check with Cabela's because what I've seen online in the forums is that Cabela's is allowing it, but Cabela's is in a nicer area than the Bass Pro shops.
And they are different stores. Same company, different stores. So Cabela's, South Side, go for it.
But double check with the manager while you're there just in case they change the rules.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but when I was there, it used to say no camping, but I think that was loosely interpreted.
I think so too. And times have changed. So
there's a great restaurant right near there, south.
Yes.
So if you're looking for some good kibble and you're going to Cabela's, hey, there you go. There's a bonus.
And Judy's Cafe, which is pretty close by. That was delicious.
Yes, it was. That's a little greasy spoon joint.
And the Peanut Farm.
Oh, Lord. It's really good.
There's good eats.
And it's a great place for sports. Like South Anchorage is really cool for RVing because if you can stay at the Cabela's, it is really close to everything else.
Now, we're a little biased also because our house was not too far away.
Yeah, we used to live up by the zoo.
Yes.
It's a perfect place for monkeys.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Literally in our yard without the lions and
Actually,
tigers.
We were 2 streets away from the Alaska Zoo where our house was, and at night, sometimes we could hear the wolves howl, which was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, but we're supposed to be talking about campgrounds and where people could take their RVs and go hang out.
Wolves are in Alaska, and Callie, she was not a fan.
Well, them dogs are scarier than a Rottweiler. Don't care who you are. So let's start with the obvious, KOA. There's not that many KOAs in Alaska.
No, there's not, but there are KOAs. We've stayed at one.
Hey, did you know that the state capital is Juneau? Tells you that on the KOA website.
Ooh, I might have heard that before, like on my birth certificate.
But there's no KOAs in Juneau.
Yeah, you can only get to Juneau by boat or plane.
You can go to Squarebanks. I'm sorry. We're supposed to behave ourselves here. Fairbanks. That is, there's only 6 KOAs actually in Alaska. The Fairbanks Chena River KOA is going to be about, 5 hours north of Anchorage? So
it's in North Pole, Alaska.
Woohoo! Going to go visit Santa.
Hey, or ho, ho, ho.
Mrs. Peters.
That's what Santa says.
Okay, so there's only a couple of them that we've actually been to. We've been to the Homer Baycrest KOA. That is a nice KOA. Last time we were there, it wasn't paved. That may have changed. But if you're going to Homer, Alaska, which we talked about in our last episode, from a halibut fishing capital of the world, KOAs are always solid. They're dog-friendly. They're cool with all kinds of pets. And you can fit big trailers in there.
Yes. And full hookups.
Well, that's important.
And also there's Bear Creek Winery.
Oh, yeah. Bear Creek Winery in Homer is the cock-a-doodle-doo.
And the Salty Dog Saloon. Must go places to visit.
The Salty Dog is just a rite of passage if you want to go to Alaska and you're going to Homer. It's down on the spit. And yes, I'm not making that up. That's what it's called. It's called the Homer Spit.
Buy a drink of your choice.
And then put $1 on the wall.
And buy a hoodie or a t-shirt.
There you go. And back to for those that have the finer palate, the winery down there is all Alaska berries. So it's not a traditional grape wine. It is a berry wine off the locals. Damn good.
It's berry delicious.
Hold on a second. All right. See, I'm starting to learn how to use all this stuff. Watch out now. All right. Seward KOA. We've stayed at that one. That one is still gravel, or at least it was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the newer ones, and the owners are super nice people. We stayed there several times with our travel trailer.
Yeah, it was very beautiful, and the mountains are right there. There's a Safeway close by.
Yeah, so you mean when you're in Alaska, you're not actually isolated like you're living on the homestead?
You know, we've seen one of the reality show folks from the homestead down
getting wasted in Anchorage.
Yes, at Glacier Brew House. And I was like, who's watching the homestead if they're here eating? Well, actually, they were at the bar.
Right.
Okay.
So, all right, we digress a little bit, but let me be real about this. It's not as remote as you think. There is grocery stores everywhere. There's gas stations everywhere. There is remote sections and places, but if you're on the road system with an RV, you're going to be okay.
Yes.
So the Seward one is a good one to stay at, that KOA, because it is really close to the inlet, and there's some really good fish in there.
Yes. And the next one is in Valdez.
Oh, we're not done.
Oh, we're not done with Seward?
No. What else do you like to do in Seward? It's your second favorite pastime, like next to drinking coffee.
I was going to say drinking coffee, fishing.
Retail therapy.
Ooh, shopping.
Yeah. There's some good shopping down there. There's some cool mom and pop shops.
I love the mom and pop shops. Chris and I, everywhere we go, we love to support small business. This is why we love having a home base, because we can mail stuff back home.
We made it home, y'all.
Oh, we did.
We've only been home for 24 hours, and guess when we're leaving? In 5 days. Bye. Going on again. All right, so now let's talk about Valdez. Juan Valdez. Is that how you pronounce it?
Valdez.
Valdez. You got to say it like a local, y'all. It's not Valdez. It is Valdez. So Valdez, now, that's a haul. You got to go up through the pass. It's worth driving to, but it's a long fling away from Anchorage.
It's about 5 hours, right? 5
depending,
or 6?
yeah,
depending
5 or 6.
On who's driving?
Well, if you're towing, no. What it really depends on is all of us tourists. And I say us because I'm not a local anymore. I'm a tourist now.
So when I left Juneau after high school, I packed up my little Honda Civic car full.
Yep.
I took a ferry from Juneau to Valdez and drove to Anchorage.
There's some funny jokes that are horribly inappropriate with that whole statement. But yes, she did. And she went to Valdez. So KOA, as we said, 6 of them. Valdez, Seward, Palmer, Anchorage, Homer, Fairbanks / North Pole. There you go.
So we're bringing up KOA. We are not affiliated with them. And
not
actually, we have a membership with them, and we've had it for a few years.
Now, let's talk about my favorite way to camp in Alaska. Boondocking.
Yes.
We're going to start with, I think we mentioned this in like episode 1 or 2, but the Denali Highway. So yes, just like the mountain, Denali, or Mount McKinley as it was previously known as, there's a highway that runs east to west across the state. I think it's 113-ish or maybe 130 miles. It's freaking awesome. Go ahead. Oh, look at you got she got the facts. Let me say here in color.
There's pictures too.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
It goes from Cantwell to Paxton. So those are both north of Anchorage. You just go left or you go right. There's only a couple highways, y'all.
So it says it's 136-mile, mostly gravel roads connect the midpoints of the Parks Highway at the Cantwell with the Richardson Highway near Paxton, passing the stunning alpine vistas high in the Alaska Range.
Oh, skip the blog BS. Here's the deal. If you're going to boondock anywhere on the Denali Highway, first and foremost, take your freaking time. Go slow. And I'm serious, like 25 miles an hour slow. Make it multiple days. Why? 1, it is gravel, and there is potholes, and you can blow your tires and your suspension if you drive like a butthole.
And 2, you can see so much wildlife out there. So you can see wolves, caribou, grizzly bears, moose, and different types of waterfowl.
And crazy-ass Alaskans.
Right?
There's a lot of fishing there, too. There's some big rivers there. We used to take, we used to hunt there a lot. That was one of our favorite places to hunt. Mm-hmm. Now, we also took a guide service on the river that dropped us off way out in the boonies there, and that was a lot of fun too. But the amount of wildlife in that area is incredible. The nature views are incredible. Cannot stress enough. Just find somewhere nice, pull over with a good view, grab some binoculars, and just hang out. You will see so much wildlife if you just sit still.
And bring your bug spray. Mosquitoes.
Bens, BENS. It's an orange bottle. It's 100% DEET. Yes, it's probably going to give you a third eyeball. Your arm's probably going to fall off, but at least you won't get bit by mosquitoes.
So far, we're doing good. We've used it for years. Just when you spray, like, don't lick your fingers or rub your eyes.
Oh, that shit's like pepper spray, y'all. It hurts. But in all seriousness, we're not sponsored by Ben's. But if you are, you're interested and you want to sponsor Working and Wandering, holler at you folks here, because that stuff works.
It does. And we keep that with us in our RV and at the house.
So the off, the cutter, the other ones that are like 5% DEET, they don't work as well. 100% DEET. Now, we'll get a little more serious about this. When we're using DEET, when you're out boondocking in Alaska, get it on your clothes, try to keep it off your skin. Yes. And if you do get it in your eyes or your lips, like your lips will tingle. Your eyes will burn. The crap is nasty. You don't want to get it on your skin, but if you spray your ball cap, you spray your clothes, then generally speaking, you're perfectly fine, and then you just wash them when you get home.
Yeah, and we'll take our ball cap off and spray the inside of the bill, and that helps a lot, and spray like near your ears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if there's your ankles.
Yeah, they love any skin protruding, the little freaking mosquitoes are going to get at it.
And you hear them coming in like one of them old planes just buzzing by.
What's the state bird of Alaska?
Well, some people say the eagle and some people say mosquitoes.
For us that are visiting and are going to be tourists, it's the freaking mosquito, but the bald eagle is the state bird. But,
it is.
Okay, so Tangle Lakes. We have actually gone to Tangle Lakes and we've gone to Tangle River. We took our pontoon boat up Tangle Lakes and shot some caribou. Yes, we hunted. Sorry, y'all, if that offends you. My apologies. That's your culture, and we didn't waste anything. And most of the time was for the elders and your family. We contributed a lot to a communities.
Yeah, and we mentioned it on the last episode too. So like the carcass and the bone, like all that goes to the Alaska Zoo, and we would call them up because they'll give them to the wolves, the bears. So
yeah. And in your family, you have some uncles that are a little more traditional in their eating style, so they would actually eat the organ meat and things like that. So literally nothing went to waste. But anyways, we digress. Tangle Lakes, Denali Highway, Brushkana is another campground that is up past Palmer. Up past Wasilla. It's off to the left. That's a pretty cool campground. It's small. It's only got
18 campsites. They have toilets, a hand pump well, a picnic shelter, a bulletin board, and no RV dump station there.
It's a milepost 104.3 on the Richardson Highway, and it's only $12 a night. So that's a pretty cool place. Same with Tangle River. It's only $12 a night. Now, Paxson, that's a lake that we've hunted on that side, too, for caribou.
Yeah, and that one's a little bigger. 50 campsites. They have toilets, RV dump station, hand pump well, picnic shelter, and $12 a night.
All right, Miss Snobby Water, talk to your peeps about the water in Alaska.
It's delicious. You don't need a filter.
Did you hear that?
Most areas you don't need a filter. Can't talk about the city.
Did you hear that?
So our house in Alaska, we actually had a well. And we had no filtration system because we didn't need it. But
we had a softener. That was it.
We had a softener because...
You got fro.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So those are a few of our favorite like boondocking areas. The other one that's not going to show up on the map, or I will say isn't going to show up on a website anywhere, is if you're going down towards the Russian River and you're going to go camp anywhere off the side of the Kenai River. There's a ton of pullouts. And people park there and just camp there. Now, it's not quiet. It's not private. It is straight up primitive. It is a dirt spot to stop. But it gives you access to some of the best fishing and hiking in all of Alaska.
It does.
No insights beyond that?
No, that was very accurate.
So how did we used to camp down there?
Are you talking about the tent camping?
Yes.
Yes. So we've had different types of tents. We even had a double wide cot tent, which we will never get again.
Why would that be, honey? The people want to know.
Someone ate Chili Mac MRE and about killed me because you only have, you're in a confined space in the double wide cot tent. I remember just opening the zipper and just like dry heaving.
The best part was there was another couple camping with us, and they were in tears because Martha had her head sticking out like a dog out of a window.
Well, there was a few couples around, and plus, our daughter and friends and stuff. So there's a big group of us, and they were dying laughing in tears.
So what you're saying is a double wide cot tent from Cabela's Chili Mac for your husband equals a recipe for disaster.
Correct.
Okay, so that's why we had to go buy a travel trailer.
We bought the travel trailer like when our daughter was going off to college, so we didn't have to board Callie because both our moms had passed. My dad passed, so we had no one to watch Callie. And we're like, we're going to buy our own travel trailer because previously we just rented them.
Yeah, but we were spoiled. We rented them from the base, so it wasn't like we were going without. I mean, we were renting things that were in good shape and taken care of. So let's talk about recreation.gov. Most campers are going to know what that is. It's the federal government's website. It'll show you all the different campgrounds that are available from the federal side. Well, there is a lot of federal campgrounds in Alaska. One thing to know, not all of them will hold a 45-foot trailer. Be careful.
Yes.
Extremely careful. Russian River Campground, being one of them, has a few sites that'll hold a 45-foot trailer, but not all of them.
Yeah, so you definitely want to check the site size.
How far in advance do you need to book? Because that place is always really hard to get.
As far out as they'll let you. I think some places were like a year, some 6 months.
Yeah, that's about right.
But full disclosure, if you're planning to camp during the summertime, we recommend making camping reservations as early as possible. Most campgrounds do fill up quickly.
And if you're going to boondock, show up, but just know if it's a weekend, you're going to have neighbors.
But I was reading on here, not all campgrounds have reservations. It's first come, first serve.
A lot of the military are that way in the lower 48 too. Where lower 48 is a term you will hear in Alaska. I might as well explain what that is. That would be the contiguous states of the 48 colonies that are down
below Alaska.
There you go. So we call it the lower 48 because Alaska and Hawaii are another country when you try to get shipping, but that's a whole nother issue. Okay, so go on to recreation.gov, put in Alaska, figure out what campgrounds you want to, where you want to book. Book them as far in advance as you can. Now, if you are a F it and you wing it like we do, this is going to be hard for you. It's going to be really hard for me. Scheduling, you really do.
Yeah, I mean, if you boondock, you're set because you can find anywhere to boondock.
Right, but if you want to, but every, we'll say once a week, you're probably going to want to get to a campground, dump, fill up fresh water, do all those things, unless you're like highly skilled boondocker and you can go weeks and weeks and weeks.
Or they have bathhouses nearby and you're fine.
Right. Either way, you'll be okay. But the Russian River is in the Chugach National Forest. I'll spell that for you. So it's Chugach. And it's near Cooper's Landing, Alaska, which is where Gwen's, the best restaurant ever, because when you're starving after fishing all day, a greasy burger will do you well.
And it's always been consistently great every time.
That it has. So the Russian River Campground looks like, I'm looking here, it looks like it has about 57 sites. And go on there, find that one. Those are just kind of a no-brainer as places that you would definitely want to go. Now, the Kenai Peninsula as a whole. So we'll say you leave Anchorage. There's only one road to go down there. You go left or you go right. You go left, you end up in Seward, basically. You go right, you head down to the Kenai. You keep going right, you end up in Homer. But if you're going down through Soldotna, Kenai, Cooper Landing area, there's a lot of campgrounds down there, and there's some pretty cool ranches that will allow you to boondock on their property.
Yeah, call ahead. Definitely just call ahead. I mean, the small business owners in Alaska are pretty amazing and very well accommodating. So
yeah, seriously, like if you're looking at Google Earth and you're like, oh my God, there's an ice cream shop here and they've got a massive parking lot. If you call that ice cream shop, say, hey, we're coming into town. We want to spend the night there. We'll spend some money in your shop, kind of a low-key Harvest Host type deal. A lot of them will do it. People are genuinely nice and support small businesses.
Yes.
One of our favorite places to go is Ski Lac Lake. Remember? Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good place. I loved eating there too. And
There's a lodge, and they did a Mother's Day brunch. It was a little bit of a drive from Anchorage to go down there, but it was a lot of fun, and the fishing is pretty good there. They had good trout fishing.
Yeah, we took my mom and
my mom 1 year.
Yeah, so we took both of our moms there before.
Yep. And so Quartz Creek, here's a little insider secret. If you're trying to get into the Russian River area and you can't get a spot in Cooper's Landing or you can't get a spot on the Russian River campground, Quartz Creek is close enough that you can drive back and forth with either your Toad or your tow truck, whatever it may be, and you can get to Quartz Creek campground. And you can also, there's some boondocking beyond the campground. We know that because that's where all the rainy double cot tent trying to kill Martha happened. That's where the bear that we talked about last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in this double wide cot tent prior to that one incident.
Mm-hmm.
We had a black lab at the time. Callie wasn't even born yet. And we had our lab sleep in the SUV overnight. We slept in our double wide cot tent. It rained so hard that night. We stayed dry, but when we got up in the morning, there was bear prints all around that circled our double wide cot tent.
So if you're camping in Alaska, I don't care if you're in an RV park or not, Yogi gonna do what Yogi gonna do. They're gonna show up. So bears are real.
Yes.
They are everywhere. Generally speaking, no problems. I sprayed one bear with bear spray, and the entire time that we were there, and we spent hundreds and hundreds of nights out over, 12 years, back and forth.
And mostly in tents, a dry cabin,
right?
Other RVs, yeah.
So
and you did do an air horn before.
Air horns work great. So like when you go to a sporting event and everybody has those annoying horns?
Yeah.
Bears don't like them.
Well, the one mama bear and baby bear liked it. They were like, oh, dinner's over your way.
No, she was like, come at me, bro. That's what Mama
Catch
Bear
me
said.
outside.
How about that? And I was like, how about it? I'm getting in the SUV and getting the hell out of here because I ain't fighting no grizzly bear.
No, especially when she got cubs.
Right? Mama going to stomp a mud hole in my butt. We ain't having that. All right. So the Kenai Peninsula as a whole, we're kind of working south here. So as we've talked about, Soldotna is down in the Kenai Peninsula area. There is a ton to do down there. It is a major, I'm going to call it a town. It's not a city, but shopping, whatever you need. Lots of camping, lots of accommodations, and tons of RV parks. Ocean Shores RV Park, Engineer Lake, Lower Ski Lake, Discovery, Quartz Creek, Jean Lake, Scenic View. All these can be found on alaska.org. I'm not going to bore you to death, but if you go to alaska.org and put in where to stay on the Kenai Peninsula, literally there's a list.
Yes. And then just to rabbit hole just a little, since you brought up bears,
Squirrel.
Definitely be careful, especially with your animals, your dogs or cats. Keep them on a leash.
Yes.
Because
they will snatch a dog. They will snatch a cat.
Yeah.
A bald eagle will swoop up a 5-pound dog in a second.
And it's like some house rules, like don't leave food outside unattended. Don't leave your garbage outside. You need to bear proof. And they're very, very serious about that because bears will come down to the camp areas, even if you're boondocking, and just eat your food. It may be worse.
Or worse.
Or worse.
You could die or worse.
You could die or worse.
Or worse. Mm-hmm. All right. So talk to me about backcountry a little bit. I see you got another one up here. This is something that you and I didn't do a whole lot of, and I think I only did it like twice. You can actually hike in to dry cabins. So the Alaska Wildlife and the Department of Fish and Game and some of the other entities up there literally have dry cabins out in the woods that you can hike into and go fishing and stuff. So if you're into hardcore hiking, look it up on recreation.gov. Also do a Google search on alaska.org. And you can hike into some of the most incredible places and actually have a cabin there waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm on bellsalaska.com. And so Bells is a travel guide for Alaska. So this is where it's going to give you the best RV parks and campgrounds in Alaska. They talk about the reservations, book out as soon as you can. Some places first come, first serve. And the camping in Alaska state parks, bear safety and camping, Alaska backcountry camping tips, like don't sleep in the open. And
so let me start with that first come, first serve. I think here's just general good rule of thumb. You're up there. You're either retired or you're going to be working around, your time off. But if you're going to go to a first come, first serve.
Thank you.
Words are difficult. get there on a weekday and get there early. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would get there somewhere in those 3 days. Thursday at latest. By Friday, they're gone because most Alaskans are taking Fridays off or they're taking Mondays off to have long weekends for fishing and hunting. So get there midweek and get there early.
Yeah, Chris and I, we did that. We would take Friday off and leave like Thursday, maybe around lunchtime, just to get a really good spot out there camping.
Absolutely.
So fish.
There you go. That is the way that it is done by the Alaskans. We all know we're going to be basically running at a full sprint to get down there and try to get ahead of the other campers, because it looks like a mass exodus. Like people are evacuating for a hurricane on a fishing weekend coming out of Anchorage, going down to the Kenai area because it's a 2-lane road all the way down.
Yeah, I'd recommend, like, if you're in the Anchorage area or bigger cities, stock up on your groceries before you head out. That way you get everything that you need or want, especially if you want a particular brand, because once you go into the smaller little towns,
you pay premiums.
You pay premium, and they may not have your brand of whatever it is that you want or need or like.
It doesn't like my face. I'm over here trying to put the password in. I got locked out of the iPad. This is rude.
What? It's like you have a microphone in your
They're like,
face?
That doesn't look like your face. I'm like, shut your hole. Oh, do what I want.
Now, we've
Lake
stayed
Lucille. That sounds familiar. Go back right there. That's kind of special.
Oh, Lake Lucille Inn. So Lake Lucille Park, that's in Wasilla. So the night when Chris and I got married, we stayed there, and it was a beautiful hotel just over the water.
And there's campgrounds there, and there's a park there, and it's really, really cool. So the Matanuska River, or Matsu, as the locals call it, right?
Yeah.
What's on there? Big old glacier?
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at this one. It says Matanuska River, Matsu. So it's on the Glen Highway. So that means when you leave Anchorage, you make a right. You'll understand. Trust me.
I was just scrolling, so I wasn't seeing what he was looking at. But yeah, Matanuska River Park has 86 spaces for tents or RVs, flush toilets. And so I like how they said it's flush toilets instead of just toilets, because sometimes it's outhouses. Showers, dump stations, picnic tables, grills, and park pavilions. So it's actually really, really nice there.
So I'm going to give them some advice, because there is a lot of outhouses in Alaska. A lot.
Bring your own toilet paper.
There's 3 things you need: toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and ass gaskets. And if you don't know what an ass gasket is, look it up.
And soap. I would just bring the foamy soap, because that washes better.
Yeah, but we joke about the ass gaskets. But basically the toilet seat liners. So toilet seat liners, some type of hand sanitizer or soap, and then toilet paper. Just have that with you. In all seriousness, baby wipes are a great thing for using the potties out there in the woods.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Martha used to roll around with a 5-gallon bucket. What do we call that thing? The lugaloo?
A lugaloo. So it had its own little toilet seat lid, and then we buy these biodegradable bags and toilet paper.
And you could use your 5-gallon bucket and do your business.
And keep talking over me, Mr. Peters.
No, I'm talking with you.
Mm-hmm. And I'd have one of those pop-up shower tents, and I use that as my bathroom.
Yeah. Because she's a lady. You don't hang your bits out in the business in the world and let the mosquitoes bite you in the butt.
I'm not really that shy, but honestly, it's to keep the bugs off me.
Right.
Because you got to strip down to go to the bathroom out there.
Yeah. So there's a couple RV parks in Anchorage that we didn't talk about. There's only 2 that I would recommend. Not that any of them are necessarily bad. Honestly, they're not. The Golden Nugget is probably the most popular, and that's pretty centrally located in Anchorage. The other one, if you have access to, is the Elmendorf Air Force Base, or as it's called now, what do they call the J-Bear, Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson, which is the Army Air Force Base, but they have a fam camp there. Really nice.
Wasn't J-Bear?
It didn't exist when we were a kid. It doesn't exist now.
That's right. It was Elmendorf Air Force Base
and Fort Richardson Army.
Yeah. And then they had a highway or a road to combine them.
Separation of Army and Air Force, it's all about the chow halls, y'all. So there's a couple other ones. Go ahead.
Okay. So Anchorage Ship Creek RV Park.
We've seen that one. That's the one we drove by like constantly.
So this park has full hookups, including water, sewer, electrical. Some large pull-through sites for big rig RVs are available. Those ones will probably like go out quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Facilities include restrooms, free hot showers, and laundry facilities. And they have other amenities such as bike rentals, and they have bookings for local tours.
They've got everything there. Anchorage is a major city and with everything. So Anchorage Ship Creek RV Park, we used to drive by it all the time to go fishing. The other one that we used to drive by all the time was the Centennial. That's the one right off the major road, right off, I think it's 2. But go ahead.
Yeah, and that one has 72 RV and tent sites.
Eklutna Lake. So that's Eklutna. That's a little bit outside of Anchorage, but not that far.
Yeah, that one has 50 campsites, and they're all first come, first serve. And they also have 15 sites available in an overflow camping area.
And then Eagle River Campground.
And that's only 13 miles outside of Anchorage. Eagle River's really nice and pretty.
It's beautiful. It's worth the drive, but just know the fishing sucks because it's glacial silt, so the water is basically just a gray mud. So don't think you're going to fish Eagle River, but it's a great place to camp. And Eagle River is really, really nice as far as a community, very safe.
And it's like the overflow of Anchorage.
It's the sleeper community.
It is. Yep. And they have a Walmart there.
So we're going to bounce around just a little bit. Okay. Tok, T-O-K. So this is the first place you're going to enter Alaska. We have boondocked in the Chevron parking lot.
Yes, we have.
And they're cool with it. And they have a dump station. And they've got diesel and they've got gas and you can fill up and there's a good little place to get breakfast there. So the Chevron gas station in Tok, solid place to stop for the night when you get in from Canada because you're going to be shook down.
Yeah.
I mean, going through the border again.
And there's also a place where you get the best chicken pad thai.
Well, that's at Four Corners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of roach coaches or food trucks, however you want to call them.
Well, it's a building now. So back when we started, it was a roach coach. So it was just a food truck. Now it's an actual building.
It had been sitting there so long that the tires had actually sunk into the ground. The steel rims were below the earth. Not intentionally. It just happened.
Yeah, we've stayed there around that area quite a bit, especially coming back from fishing charter trips and stuff. And we know what we're getting for dinner.
Oh, absolutely.
Chicken
that was
pad thai.
Yes, because we would stop there either coming in from Tok to go back to Anchorage, or if we were coming in from fishing reds
in Copper River.
And it's Four Corners. That's basically your turnaround point.
Yes.
When Alaskan says Four Corners, that's because guess what? 4 different roads intersect right there at the corner. They're pretty straightforward with everything. And yes, there's a grocery store there, so you'll be all right from that standpoint.
There is.
All right, so that is the couple places there. I got logged out again. My goodness. All right, so talk about Denali right here. Talk about those while I get logged back in again for the third time.
All right, so they have Denali Rainbow Village RV Park. So that one, they have pull-through sites. It has full and partial hookups. They have cable TV, Wi-Fi, clean showers, laundry, and dump station. And it's a good Sam RV park.
Well, that makes it good.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
And Denali RV Park and Motel. So that one, it says excellent prices on 80 RV sites, full hookup sites, pull-throughs, and free Wi-Fi. They offer dog walking and have a gift shop, outdoor cooking area, and friendly staff. Well, that sounds pleasant. I mean, say you're out there fishing or you're hiking or something, you can have someone walk your dog for you. I would have questions just because our dog's super needy.
Yeah, that's kind of the case.
Yeah.
So there's another place that you're not going to find a whole lot on, which is Eureka.
You found it?
Eureka! So Eureka is outside of Anchorage, another place that we used to do hunting for caribou. And there's the Eureka Lodge, and they've got a bunch of parking there. So it's not officially a RV park, but it is definitely somewhere you can boondock. Plenty of places to pull over, and really beautiful.
Yes.
And kibble. So you want to do you remember the price of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
$50.
No. I thought it was $99.
$50.
$50 peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know what we call that, right?
What?
The we don't want to make that for you price. Because everything else was normal. But you ask for a PB&J, oh, you going to pay. So just get the chicken fried steak and you'll be solid.
Yes, definitely do.
So if you go to the Eureka Roadhouse or the Eureka Lodge, they're really nice. The food's good. It's a greasy spoon place. But again, stop at the mom and pop shops everywhere you camp, because those places are only in existence for two reasons. One, the locals love them, because if they didn't, they would go out of business, because in the winter, we all don't go up there.
And what's great about that is that everyone comes in there and, you know, whoever's sitting around you at the table, like at a table next to you, you'll probably end up talking about your day fishing or hiking, and they'll probably talk about theirs too. It's like a big community out there. And then sometimes some of the folks that are serving you, your waiters, waitresses, and all that, they actually come up from what we call the lower 48 just to experience Alaska in the summertime and just work, and then also go on their adventures on their days off.
There's a lot of college kids that work in Alaska in the summers. They go down there to the lower 48 and they recruit them to come up and spend summers working in Alaska, because they need help and there's not enough people to do it in Alaska.
Yeah, and it gives them quite the experience, and you get to meet some cool people.
Yep. So Harvest Hosts, yes, they do exist in Alaska. Boondockers welcome. Yep, they're there in Alaska too. From what I can see on the website right now, it looks like there is a whopping 5 Harvest Host locations and probably about another 10 Boondockers welcome. So depending on where you want to go and what you want to do, those are always solid options. Just know, for the most part, if somebody's got a Harvest Host or a Boondockers welcome, they probably got plenty of land, because outside of the cities, most people have a lot of acreage. You're not on top of each other.
No. And then do you have it filtered right now, or is it just Harvest Host?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me go reset all and show. So when I was filtered. You are correct. There's 39 locations when I filter, including Kodiak Island Brewing. Just know you can't drive there. You have to take the ferry.
Yeah, look at the rig length, because I think that went...
Oh, it went up
under 20 feet.
No, it gives you, up to 35 foot. Be careful, up to 45 foot. So just normal situation. Just make sure you do your research. But Harvest Host and Boondockers welcome do work in Alaska. They are there. There's just not a lot of them. It's not like the lower 48.
And if you don't have a membership to Harvest Hosts, we got a link down below in the description for you.
There you go. And
save you some money.
Save you some money, and it'll be really cool camping. We're going to one Tuesday. We're going to a winery down in Miami.
Ooh, Miami.
Yes, we're going down to Miami, and we're going to go to a winery and stay the night before we head down to the Keys.
Ooh, Florida Keys.
Yeah, look at that. So we're talking about Alaska, though. We need to stick with the frozen tundra. What do you got next? So what other areas do we want to make sure we tell them about?
Let's see.
I started to briefly touch on the military fam camps. There is a lot of military locations in Alaska. So if you do have access to the base, take advantage of it.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, we stayed on there. It was really nice.
Yes. All right. So what other ones do we have? Those are the main ones that I can think of that I wanted to make sure. Oh, a couple things to touch on since we're talking about military. Disabled Veterans Annual Camping Pass. So the Department of Natural Resources in Alaska gives you free camping if you're a service-connected disabled with a just proof from the VA. So just know you can get free camping throughout Alaska. So you could actually make this, we'll say, somewhat more economical just by boondocking and hitting up some of the locations.
Yeah, so dnr.alaska.gov. So go on there for instructions. It'll tell you what office you need to go in and what documentation you need to bring. But you probably already know what kind of documentation you need to bring. I'm just going to direct you to the website. I was telling Chris about this, and we're definitely going to get this next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's something. This is not a very hard website to figure. RVAlaskaCampgrounds.com. Why are we telling you that? They've got a directory where to find RV dump stations in Alaska. So RVAlaskaCampgrounds.com, where to find RV dump stations in Alaska. Because honestly, having somewhere to dump your poo is important.
What's kind of nice is because, like, one of the gas stations, as long as you fill up your tank, you can dump for free.
All right. And let's be real. There's no Loves. There's no TA. Nothing like that in Alaska. These are all going to be smaller mom and pop. Now, you can usually get an RV into them. They usually have tall enough roofs, but don't look for major truck stops. You're not going to find them.
Now, have you opened up your open roads to see?
I have not opened up my TSD open roads. Let me pull that up while you talk about the Division of Parks and Outdoor Rec.
So that one, the dnr.alaska.gov, has a lot of great information on here. So this one says campground information, and below is a list of campgrounds that are available, sorted by parks. Not all fees are listed on this page. So, and it says first come, first serve, unless it's otherwise noted. And it'll tell you if you can make a reservation to that campground or not. So that's a really cool thing. And it has the different, like, if there's picnic sites, drinking water, toilets, trails, historical features, boat launch, fishing, cabins, all those in the location. So they break it in different areas too. So that's a great resource.
Wah, wah, wah. No TSD open road gas stations or diesel stations anywhere in Alaska or Canada, which I am not surprised about the Canada, but Alaska is still part of the U.S. You wouldn't believe that if you go onto some Amazon sellers, but we won't digress too far.
Or some places like, oh, we only ship in the U.S. What about Alaska? Nope, never heard of her.
Right. Right. Okay, so did you tell them about the conditions? That was what you told them about there?
No, that one was park information. So it breaks it down by area and whether or not they have like how many campsites, if you can reserve them, if there's picnic tables, toilets, drinking water, trails.
And that's on the DNR website, right?
Yeah, it's on. They have a lot of great resources.
So on there, you can also see the condition of the campsite, meaning whether they're open or they're closed. Have they had a landslide? Is there an avalanche? Things of that nature. And I'm not joking about the avalanche. Like,
yes,
that happens. So I would say that those are your highlights. I hope you got something out of this. This is a lot of campgrounds to go over. If you have specific questions, please reach out. We could not even come close to covering everything on one episode. That's clearly why we're on our 7th Alaska episode, I believe, right?
I think so, if I go back and count.
Yeah, and our next one, I don't want to misquote, our next Alaska episode will be next Wednesday, and it is going to be, here we go. Here it is. Come on. All right. The next one is going to be personal protection in Alaska. That's going to be an important one because we're going to go really in depth about moose safety, bear safety, two-legged and four-legged critter safety, firearms. I'm going to get into the weeds on that one. I'm going to talk about calibers of guns, what I would recommend you carry, what I wouldn't recommend you carry, how to transport firearms into Alaska safely without getting your butt in a bind.
And what kind?
Without getting your butt in a bind.
Yes.
Speaking from experience. Yeah. We'll talk about first aid kits, shipping of firearms, bug spray, all those things. So the very next episode, all about personal protection. We'll give you resources that are non-firearms because we know some people are not interested in firearms. That's okay. Yeah,
that's okay. There's other things to do to keep yourself safe. And that's the biggest thing, is to keep yourself safe.
Right.
And others around you.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. So what do we always say? Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and we'll answer them. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, please put a comment. The algorithms are happy. They love that. And you can reach out to us at venturesomecouple.com. And we're happy to answer any questions, give you any information we have about Alaska, trip planning, RV life, whatever you want to know. And if you're watching our Alaska series, let us know if you have a trip planned to Alaska. Yep. Because we're going next year. Yeah, that got bumped. I think we've already explained that, but we got bumped this year because of RV Unplugged television show. Yes. That's okay. It's a good problem to have. We love Todd and Tony. We do. The beards. and the stump beard. And the bunless. The bunless. The beard and the bunless and the stump beard. If you know, you know. Yes. Thank you. And what do we tell everybody? Don't forget, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Other than that, thank you so much for listening and enjoy every moment.